And so it began, our 6-week adventure on a Lake Michigan tour. Leaving to Chicago from Milwaukee on July 6, 2021, we couldn't have asked for a better start to the trip. It was perfectly sunny, the seas were calm, Milwaukee gave us a great wave goodbye. We couldn't have been happier heading into the city of big shoulders, Chicago, Illinois. We got a great slip, the number 2 slot in DuSable Harbor, Chicago. 2 slips down from us was another absolute Navetta, a 64-foot that came across on the same cargo ship from Italy as ours. And the first leg of this trip was extra special because our adult kids were able to join us. It's Friday, July 9th, and we're excited of our big trip. We're going from Chicago to South Haven. The weather is a little bit conflicting for us because some are saying it's going to be a little dicier than some other reports, but I think if we took all of them together and combined it, we'd say we expect about 1, maybe 3 feet of waves, about 10 knots of wind, probably taking it to, it's coming from the northeast, and that's doable for us. We're comfortable with that. And anyway, as you can see, we're in downtown beautiful Chicago, enjoying the sun's back out. It feels a little warmer. Yesterday was kind of crappy down here, but we had a good time anyway. A lot of shopping and walking and enjoying the city life.
This is beautiful. Great time. Great location.
Okay, here we are underway. We were expecting 1 to 3 foot waves. I would speculate we're experiencing quite a bit more than that. Maybe I'd put this in the 2 to 5 category.
Maybe 2 to 4.
Maybe 2 to 4, I don't know. It's hard to tell for sure. But you can see here that we're about, I don't know, a third of the way in. I mean, we're pretty well committed because we're half into the Lake Michigan. And anyway, you know, it's kind of funny in boating in wave situations like this. When we started, it was a lot scarier, and the more we're, you know, experiencing it, doing it, I wouldn't say that we're really comfortable with it, but it's not as scary as it was. So sometimes the boat goes up and it comes down really hard, smacks hard. That knocks some stuff off the countertops and such. Those are a little more unnerving. But overall, I think it's a good ship here. We're on a little mini ship. So this is what it looks like in the middle of Lake Michigan when you can't see any land. Any direction you look, no land. Sometimes the waves like that are a little bigger too. We're at about 315 feet of water. I think that's about the most that my depth finder can see. There was a period there where it couldn't read anything, so it was much deeper than that even. So you kind of just have to have confidence that your instruments are right, going in the right direction, and that the weather is gonna stay cooperating. It's a little rough, but we're doing all right. And we made it just fine coming into South Haven, Michigan. Very beautiful marina area. We love this area so much. A lot of folks welcoming us, coming in on the piers, waving at us. A lot of boats coming in and out as well. By the time we docked, the scenery as we sterned in, looking back out onto the waterway, was just spectacular. The little downtown area there. And the best part was my parents arrived. We sat around, had lunch, enjoyed the views. It was a nice visit. Next up was headed to Saugatuck on July 9th. Okay, we just left South Haven. We're heading to Saugatuck now. And so Amy and I just share the quick things that we thought were our favorite things about South Haven.
My favorite thing about South Haven was getting to see Barbara's parents, of course. They came and visited with us, and we had a great lunch together. And my second favorite thing was getting to go to the farmer's market this morning, and I was able to buy all the things to make the lunch for when Barbara's parents were here, and that was cool.
Yeah, and my favorite thing, clearly the same thing, seeing my folks was great, having them have a chance to climb aboard Sull'Acqua. And my other favorite things included using our little mini bike. We had these little electric bicycles that we scooted around South Haven. Really got to explore, and that was fun. Anyway, onward to Saugatuck. Coming into the port areas of Saugatuck, this can be a very busy area. It's a very popular boating destination, and a lot of boats coming in and out. And it can be slow moving coming through the channel. We made it to Saugatuck and the Singapore Yacht Club. We're parked in actually the very first slip of the club. That's Coral Gables over there. A lot of boats and docks to walk along to look at all the boats. Cute little inlet area here. And right next to us is the 75-foot Burger Classic Wisconsin premium brand boat. Ship, I should probably call it. La Perla. This is what planning for a trip with Amy Mason looks like.
Yay!
We've got a drawing of the state of Michigan. I don't know if it's to scale or not.
No, not at all.
And
we have a calendar.
We have a calendar. They say in boating, have a plan, but don't have a schedule. We'll see how this thing will convert to just staying a plan, but you can see lots of detail. A lot of work goes into coordinating all this, and she's the one up for the challenge. Okay, you probably hear some weird gurgling noise. That's because it seems like every time we come to a port, we have to fill up with fresh water. We seem to use a lot of water for some reason. Anyway, you can see here, this is they put this special hose that's to help keep the water good. I guess antibacterial. And we have to fill that all the time. So that's what we're doing right now, is filling up. So we can go ahead and head out. We're gonna move on to Grand Haven next. We pull away from the dock and Amy's work really kicks in big. We're moving down through the channel, leaving Saugatuck. You can see in this video just how much visibility we get on this boat. Okay, we're on our way from Saugatuck up to Grand Haven. You can see our route has been set up for the autopilot. Over here you can see, if you're curious about some of the stats of things, like, for example, we're going 8 knots, about almost 8.5 sometimes. And the depth here is about 46 feet. It's just before 11 a.m. Eastern time. And it says here that we're going to arrive at 1:30 p.m. Eastern time. Now, one thing I can also do in this is take a look at fuel economy. So here you can see I am running at 1850 RPMs, and that's burning right now a combined about 8 gallons of fuel an hour. So I can slow it down, gain some fuel economy, but take longer to get there, or speed it up and lose a lot of. It's almost an exponential movement in fuel economy. Right now we're in this kind of weather situation. I'm gonna just keep taking it slow. The waves aren't bad, and we can't get into the new marina until 1 o'clock anyway. So. Another marina at slip number 1 with a great view. And actually, interestingly enough, the next 3 boats over are all from Milwaukee as well. But what's extra cool is right across from us tonight is going to be a water show with music. We're going to get front row seats to it. Should be fun. So we begin the process of stocking up on provisions, because next up we're headed to White Lake, Michigan, July 14th, 2021. It's mornings like this that remind me of why I love this boating life right now. Absolutely gorgeous out. Nice temperature, the lakes aren't too rough. We're on a slow cruise going about 9 knots up the west coast of Michigan, and it's just beautifully peaceful. We made arrangements with Jefferson Beach Yacht Sales to meet us in Whitehall to install a new weather system. Just in time. Well, here we go. Probably not the wisest move to make under these conditions, but it's a short distance. I think we can make it just fine. Should smooth out significantly by the time we're there. And it did, and it was beautiful that evening, and we had a great time in Manistee. But now, we're off to Charlevoix. This one's going to be a long stretch for us. Okay, it was a month and a half ago that it was from this exact spot that we took solo possession, without the help of another captain, of Sull'Acqua. And it was from here that we not only took solo possession of it, we also embarked on crossing Lake Michigan for the first time by ourselves too. So it was hard, but we did it, and here we are coming back. We crossed the lake again, and we've been coming up the west coast of Michigan and enjoying it. So cheers. thought I'd share some of the navigation tools I use to help with driving here at Sull'Acqua. Here's some information on weather, giving me information on wind direction, speed, true wind speed, apparent wind speed, and so forth, as well as the depth of the water that we're driving in right now, which is about 44 feet. And then over here, I have information that's our chart plotter that we use for the autopilot. And that helps us map out exactly where we need to go, and it gives us really clear indicators about safe depths, as well as many hazards that may be underwater that I can't see. And then I have a third screen I'm using over here on my iPad that gives me just another perspective on the detail of the depth of water and navigation information. Well, arriving in Charlevoix was definitely an exciting time because this is our first time ever having a bridge open for us to be able to cross through. We arrived in Somerset Point Yacht Club, met a great new friend, spent about a week there, and now we're headed off to Bay Harbor, Michigan. Bay Harbor was fine, but we were ready to take off to Mackinac Island for a lot of adventure there.
When we wake, hear the birds and see the sun. Side by side our fears are done. Oh, the good times just begun. Oh, we know what we have, let's hold on tight. Found what we're looking for in life. Call us crazy, but things are finally right. With you and I, the future is bright. Oh, you and I, we got it. Oh, we don't need no more. Oh, even in the hard times, you and I can weather any storm.
Now we're off to island number 2, Beaver Island.
The sun is coming up, are you ready to go? We can take a ride, we can take it slow. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. I'll take you to a place we can see it all. Step off the edge, I can break your fall. Your will is my law, I'ma let you be the boss, 'cause I'll go where you go. When you fall down, I'll get you back up again. The things you...
Well, we made some great new friends on Beaver Island, and now we're off to Washington Island. This one's going to be a long stretch of riding, but boy, oh boy, we could not have gotten a better day than today to be on the boat.
I heard a ringing bell this morning, and it woke me from a dream. And in that dream I heard a warning, saying leave the rest, take only what you need. So keep on singing to those who listen, 'cause you can make it on your own. Time goes slowly, the world gets lonely. got no one on your side. You gotta love one another, sister and brother, 'cause you only got one ride.
Here we are, Sunday, August 1st, and we are wrapping up our travel here in Washington Island. Just finished having some lunch. We're kind of waiting out the weather. The forecasts here have had the winds, and they've been pretty much demonstrating that on our displays, averaging about 15 knots or so, sometimes higher, as high as 25 so far. So we know that when that happens, the waves are also quite big. And probably our biggest hesitation in taking off too quickly here is that we want to make sure there's not a ton of wind when we go to dock as we arrive in Fish Creek. But Fish Creek is only about an hour and a half, 2 hours away. So anyway, should be a good trip. We'll keep you posted. All right, here we are. We're going through Death's Door on a high wind day. Nothing to add, nothing like adding a little more drama to the name of the opening we have here. Anyway, we passed through it, and we are on our way to Fish Creek. After conquering Death's Door and rough seas, and then docking, we enjoy a cocktail. We met up with some great friends and family. Good morning from Fish Creek, Door County, Wisconsin. Today we're going to be leaving to head to Green Bay, Wisconsin. And we're leaving a day early because the weather tomorrow is not expecting to be very good, or it's expecting to not be very good. And anyway, we're going to get a day jump on it. And the weather this morning here in Fish Creek is just absolutely beautiful. Quick little view here. You can see the sun coming up, the marina. Yeah. Peaceful mornings like this is really what I love most about boating, is waking up early and sitting with a cup of coffee on the fly bridge and looking around and taking it all in. Well, here we are about to arrive into Green Bay. The challenge is staying within these markers because it is a very, very tight route to get into Green Bay. And if you veer too close to those nuns and cans, you could run aground pretty quickly. Well, we learned why they call it Green Bay. Okay, Green Bay was not our favorite stop on this trip. We were ready to move on to Sturgeon Bay, and turned out it was going to be a pretty nice day for traveling, at least getting up there. It was smooth sailing getting there, but once we were docking, we literally tied up just in the nick of time as 60-mile-an-hour winds came blowing through. Thank goodness we were tied up. This was probably the most terrifying experience we've ever had, being on the boat when there's a big storm. But all ended well with a red sky that night. Then we headed off to Kewaunee, Wisconsin on a beautiful early morning ride out through the Sturgeon Bay Channel to Lake Michigan. This particular part of the channel heading out into Lake Michigan is narrow and can be pretty challenging with the number of boats going through, but this morning was just fine for us. Overall good sailing this morning though, and we arrived safely into Kewaunee. We got up extra early the next morning to head to Sheboygan, Wisconsin. While the sun was rising, we set sail for our final stop before returning to Milwaukee. We arrived to having a face stock and then met up with some great friends for a dinghy ride. Next up, back to Milwaukee, Wisconsin.